It is finally November, the pinnacle of autumn for me, and Florida has actually graced us with slightly chilly-ish weather, and with it being November, you know what it is. You know what this month is. Hunger Games month. I know, it's Zelda month, but just click this video to hear my entire explanation of how I got into the Hunger Games and why November is Hunger Games month for me. It wasn't an arbitrary choice, but I don't really want to go through the whole thing in this video because this is a story video, yes, related to Hunger Games, specifically the movie Catching Fire. Now, of course, in the spirit of Hunger Games month for me, as I do every year for the past several years, I have already started rereading and have almost finished the first book in the trilogy. And I mean, it's a short book, but I don't have a ton of time to read it, but when I do, I read pretty quickly because this is my 8th time reading the series. Well, trilogy. You know what I mean. In case you're wondering how much I love the Hunger Games, I mean, this is literally the cowl that Katniss wears in the beginning of Catching Fire, which is the subject of today's video. And I have all the pins from the covers of the first 3 books, or the only 3 books, and just an extra pin that I got when I went to see Mockingjay Part 2. One of the 6 times I saw it in theaters. Yeah. Anyway, getting to the story. So this story takes place late November of 2013 when I was 18 years old. I took a gap year between high school and college, and so I was just home teaching dance, taking dance, and pretty much just doing nothing as I tried to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Now, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th films were all released in late November, and so naturally I went to see it on opening day. Now, I didn't want to see this movie alone, but I also didn't want to go with just anyone. So I went with my friends that we'll call A and M, who were 19 and just turned 14, respectively. Now, A and I had already read the trilogy at least a couple of times. M had just finished reading the 1st and 2nd book, so she knew what was happening. And that was the idea, that I went with people who already knew what was happening. Now, for M, I kind of made this a little bit of a birthday gift for her. I bought her ticket and was like, don't pay me back, let this be a late birthday gift. This is an important detail for later. Now, we purposely drove 30-45 minutes away to a really far away theater because they said they had it in IMAX, the big IMAX screen, and those were the tickets we bought. Long story short, was not IMAX. We were kind of disappointed, but that's okay. I ended up going to see the movie 4 more times. It was great every time. Now, we couldn't do a late Thursday night showing because a couple of us had dance on Thursday nights. But we also couldn't do just any time on Friday because 2 of us, the same 2 of us that had danced the night before, had a dance convention that we needed to leave for later that day, so we had to get an early morning showing. Now, being the overplanner I tend to be at times, I made sure we arrived really early, but because our movie showing was so early, and we got there even earlier, the theater wasn't even open yet, so we just kind of had to stand outside. Now, while we were standing outside, someone else came up, a man probably about in his late 30s, early 40s, and we just kind of ignored him, whatever he was doing there. But then he approached us and started talking to us. Now, he seemed very nice, but of course, we're young women, and we were of course going to be cautious. He was also there for the same movie, so while the 3 of us were talking about the books and what we're expecting, what we hope that they don't change, what we hope to see, yada yada yada, he kind of just joined in on the conversation. Now, we noticed, or at least A and I did, I don't know about M, that there was something off with this guy, as in, we didn't quite think that his mental age matched his actual age. And we mean that in the most loose sense possible. That's not meant to be demeaning. It was just, we could tell, okay, there's something else going on here. He's not picking up on certain social cues. Okay, so we thought, okay, he's not a threat. We're just slightly uncomfortable because, frankly, we don't want to talk to anyone else. He is much older than us, but we also recognize, okay, there's something else going on upstairs. Let's be polite, let's be kind. Within reason, of course. So then the theater finally opens 30 minutes later, and we finally get to go inside, and we're not even to our actual theater, we're just in the lobby, and he's just talking up a storm, talking our ears off, mainly to M, who just turned 14, as I mentioned earlier. A and I were getting extremely uncomfortable at this point and tried to figure out a way to get ourselves separated from him, just because, again, we were just uncomfortable. Even if there was something else going on that was completely innocent, nonetheless, we were uncomfortable and wanted to get ourselves away from the situation. So I mentioned to A, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom. Didn't you say you needed to go? And she was like, yes, I do. Didn't you also need to go, M? Which got her out of it. So we all went to the bathroom and we actually just kind of hung out there for quite a while. The movie didn't start for quite some time, and it was actually a nice bathroom, had couches and everything, so we just hung in there and chatted. Now it's getting closer to showtime and we wanted to get decent seats, so we decided to finally leave and go back in. Immediately we were able to see him across the theater down towards the front. And we thought, okay, we're going up to the back, just go right up. But then he comes out of his aisle and starts calling out M's full name. I don't remember her giving him his name or any of us giving him our name, but he knew her name and was calling out to her, and we just kind of kept walking. We didn't know what to do. There were a few other people in the theater. It wasn't crowded at all though, and we really just didn't know what to do. Despite being extremely independent and stubborn, I am actually very non-confrontational. I don't like the feeling it puts in my stomach. It's just, overall just not a good time for me, but I knew I needed to say something. So I went up to him and said, hey, I'm so sorry, but M's birthday was recently and this is her gift, and we kind of wanted this to be a girls' day thing, so we're just going to be on our own up here. He seemed a little offended by that, but ultimately just kind of went okay and walked away. So we went and we sat down, and I felt terrible. Even though I know I did the right thing, I just felt terrible because I thought for some reason something I did was wrong. I knew it wasn't wrong, but you know, I was younger and I wanted to be nice to everyone, but obviously we were all aware this was not exactly a good situation. It wasn't awful. Again, probably really innocent stuff going on, but we didn't know that, and we shouldn't have to cater to that anyway because we were there on our own and we were 14, 18, and 19 years old, so. But there was also this old couple sitting behind us, and the old man leans over, pats my shoulder, and says, good for you, young lady. If you hadn't said something, I definitely would have. So I was very grateful for those kind words from that man because that made me feel infinitely better, and certainly the three of us felt a lot more chill now that we were like, alright, we're on our own, what we came to do, and we just enjoyed the movie. Although you would never think we were enjoying the movie because we knew when all the scary stuff was going to happen, we knew when all the heart-wrenching stuff was going to happen, so we would start reacting and like grabbing each other's arms and hands before it would even happen, and you know the people around us who hadn't read the books were like, what's about to happen? Why are they freaking out? Especially Cinna. The moment we saw that scene start, we all went, oh no, we know what this is, and it just hurt. It just hurt. Not to mention, and I guess spoiler alert for movies and books that have been out for forever, when it got to the end and Katniss walks away to be with Joanna Mason to pull the wire, we all three realized, oh my gosh, this is the last time we see Peeta normal. Well, I mean, he does go back to normal, but obviously with severe issues, as does Katniss, but you know what I mean. If you've read the books, you know what I'm talking about. It was sad, but also just a really good time. I know, that was a really short video, but I do have other Hunger Games scripts in the works, and not just Hunger Games. Despite this being Hunger Games month, I will also be doing other videos, possibly Zelda since it is also Zelda month, but also because when I had Hunger Games month last year, I was only set to do videos once every other week, so I only had to do 2 videos for November, but recently I've been doing roughly 2 videos a week, so I'm not prepared for that because, you know, the prequel's not out yet. If the prequel book were out, I'd have something more to talk about, but there are ideas in the works, and if you have any Hunger Games or Zelda ideas, feel free to comment them below. I would love to hear them. And if you are also a huge Hunger Games fan, especially the books, then definitely let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this random little short story of mine, despite it being a little bit different than my usual content, although I have been doing some story videos lately, then feel free to subscribe if you want. Up to you. I also do live streams where I play games very badly. I try my best, but also I'm kind of a wimp, so be sure to check in on YouTube every now and again. I tend to stream on Monday, Thursday, and Saturday evenings around 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so definitely check in for that. But you'll know if you subscribe. It usually notifies you if you have all the notifications turned on. But yeah, But anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for watching.